Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toastmasters District 3 Lunch and Learn series. This has been a fantastic year, and for all of our audience that's been hanging with us and loyal, thank you very much for coming to our events every other week. We really appreciate your time, and we appreciate your ability to just come and tag with us and see what we're doing today. Our final episode today is going to be a fantastic one. You're not going to want to miss this, and I've seen this firsthand. This woman is remarkable. First, before just a little housekeeping, this is a webinar series. That means we don't have direct connection or communication with the presenter, but please feel free to put your questions either in the chat or use the Q&A function down at the bottom of your screen. This will be approximately, I'm thinking about a 45-minute presentation with 15 minutes later for questions. And I'll take those questions and hold them till the end, so that way the presenter can go through her presentation. If you have any questions for me directly, just feel free to reach out through the chat, but we will hold all questions until she's completed her presentation. Our presenter today is Distinguished Toastmaster Karen Hewitt. Karen gives actionable steps on team building to lead with success and to help your team achieve their goals. Quite often, leaders fail to ask or provide meaningful reasons to participate in committees and more, leading to burnout, overwork, and ineffective programs, plus frustration on their end. Utilizing collaboration and these systems will not only help you grow your teams in Toastmasters or in your profession, even in your business that you're building, but also you will have members, employees, even contractors actively willing to work with you again. Now, a little background on Karen. She is also not just a Toastmaster, she is a certified Life and NLP coach. It's neurolinguistics. I should look that up. It's an NLP coach, but I will get that. I apologize. She is also a successful, multifaceted entrepreneur. She shares her story and her gifts in an empathic and authentic way to help others. Discovering real life gifts where introverts have the most power, Karen teaches her clients how powerful, creative, and successful you can be as an introvert, as a woman and a busy mom juggling everything. I mean, who doesn't have a lot on their plate, right? Karen's story takes her from almost losing her life to a man she thought was there to help her gain strength, leaving her with agoraphobia, PTSD, and anxiety, where she then became completely locked in her introverted world to becoming a true powerhouse in helping others stand true in their gifts and their strengths. As an empathic and compassionate speaker, she truly connects with introverted individuals that know that there is something more to what they are doing, but they don't know yet how they can impact or express themselves because of feeling shy or introverted or even unworthy. In Toastmasters, Karen is the district director-elect for District 3, which is all of Arizona. She has earned her Distinguished Toastmaster Award for Education 2 times and is about to enter 2 more of these DTM awards into our system starting in July. She believes DTM means destined to mentor and has already seen some of her mentees receive their own DTM awards, with 4 more due to submit theirs in July. Pretty cool, huh? She credits this to being focused on the education program and sharing a don't speak for free system, as well as how to impactfully use high performance leadership projects in our members' growth. Karen's speech or presentation today is titled Many Hands Make Light Work. It's all about team building. And I can tell you from a firsthand experience, this woman knows how to rock building teams. She's helped me build several teams in the committees I've worked with her. She is a powerhouse at this. So I would really please pay close attention. If you need this for your business or in Toastmasters or anything you're doing in your career, you're going to want to take a look at this and take some notes and connect with her after the presentation. So without further ado, please help me welcome to the virtual stage, Karen Hewitt.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate it. NLP, just so you know, is neuro-linguistic programming. It's that little conversation that you have in your brain, so you can change it to give yourself the most success, the most self-courage, self-confidence, and also other techniques as well. As Lisa was telling you a little bit more on me, I joined Toastmasters because I was completely introverted, agoraphobic, refusing to leave my house, but I had a story to tell. And so I needed somewhere I could go to learn how to tell my story. And that's where I found Toastmasters. The biggest surprise to me was it isn't just about speaking and communication and getting up on stage and giving this moving, impactful, motivational, empathic speech. But there's this other part, and that is leadership. So we're going to talk a little bit about leadership today. And as Lisa said, we're going to be talking about team building. It is one of the skills that I chose to really dig into for a couple of reasons. And I'm hoping that you gain something from this presentation today and take some notes, and you're able to take this and impact it into your life. Well, first, let's talk about leadership, because I think this is like the elephant in the room. We constantly go, I'm a leader, I'm a leader. What if I was to say that 75% of leaders nowadays are actually managers? They're not leaders. They're trying to manage, they're being reactive, they're putting their hands on everything. They need to be involved, they need to make decisions, they need to control, they need to be active participants in every single committee. And they don't share, they don't tell, they don't give all that information to everyone. This is a manager, and a manager is basically somebody who has a job to do, wants to get the job done, but doesn't think about the longevity, the involvement, or the growth of other people to bring them up and to help them develop in order to take it. This is to do with succession planning, and that is a second topic that's really important to me. When you're an effective leader, you think in terms of succession, which is, okay, I have this job to do, but who is going to do that job next? Who is going to take over from me? Who is going to grow from me? Who is going to lead after I'm done? And this all plays into team building and team planning. So one of the things I want to say is there is a Q&A box at the bottom of this, or if you're watching this on the replay on YouTube later or on social media, what we have is comments, and you can please put questions and please tag me. I'm on all the social medias. Tag me, I will answer them. I love giving this information. I love sharing this story and helping other people. But let's get down to it. What is one of the things that we try and do as a leader? And that is we try and help other leaders. We try and help other people build up. We try and help everyone grow and become more of what they are. If you're trying to do it all alone, you're not leading, okay? You are not leading, you are not growing. So how do we do it? I mean, okay, you just took on a committee. Go build a team. Great. What do you do? How do you do it? What do you say? And we're trying to build these committees and grow these teams. 1 second, please. Sorry about that. I apologize. I have 5 kids at home, and sometimes I have to remind them to be a little quieter. So you get told, build a committee, grow this, and you're like looking at this piece of paper going, oh, what do I do now? Do I ask people? Let me just call my friend up. Hey, you're going to help me out with this, right? Yeah. Okay. You're going to help me. You're on my team, right? And this is how we build teams of 2 to 3 people. Because we get our friends, we get people we're connected to, and we just say, you're going to help me because I'll help you later. You do this for me and I'll do this for you. Newsflash, not effective. This is not how we grow teams. This is not how we grow. This is not how we develop. And I'm going to explain some of the things, and these are common mistakes that I see us make. First mistake, we make it about ourselves. You're going to help me. You owe the district. It's time for you to give back. Why aren't you doing this to help other people? Guilt by association, not a good technique to grow a team. Yes. Will you get so? Yes, you'll get a few people who will go, okay, yeah, you're right. I owe you. I owe this organization. I owe this team. Let me do this for you. But you don't have their buy-in. You don't have their 100% commitment. They're going to do just enough to get the job done because there's really nothing in it for them. Really, honestly, nothing in it for them at all. So they're just trying to get through with it painlessly as possible, do what you ask, and then move on. And 9 out of 10 in their head, they've already repaid a debt and they're not going to do it again because, well, they already did what you asked. Why should they do anything again? There's no need. That is the first mistake we make. The second mistake we make is we go into it in a very demanding manner. That you're going to do this for me. Hey, I'm going to sign you up. You're in, you're doing this. You're set up. End of story. I'll see you at the next meeting. There's like a standing joke of being voluntold. Has anybody, if you have ever heard that term voluntold, go ahead, just drop something in the chat. Just wave your hand up, put your in the comments, like drop a 1. If you've been voluntold to do something, yeah, I see you. Oh my God, I'm right. It's a yes, everyone's been voluntold to do something at some point. And we even say, well, I was voluntold to be timer. I was voluntold to be grammarian. I was voluntold to give a speech. I was voluntold to be on the team. I was voluntold to do this role. I was voluntold. Is that really something that you're passionate? No, you're not passionate. You're just doing it to get it over and done with. And it's really like, seriously, oh my gosh. So we don't want to volunteer individuals and we don't want to guilt individuals. The other thing we don't want to do is we don't want to wait to the last minute. One of the highest areas that we have that we can work on is how quickly we bring people up onto our teams. As soon as you are aware that you need to do something, that is the minute you start building your team. A lot of people go, well, I'm supposed to be running this thing in 2 weeks. And they wait 10 days and try and build a team 4 days out because it's not that hard. It's not that big. It should only take us a few days. You're now disrespecting their time constraints and you're not giving them the opportunity to say no. Why is it an opportunity to say no? Because everyone should have that ability to say no and set their boundaries. But oh my gosh, I know this is last minute, but I really need your help. There's the guilt. I've got you down for helping with this. There's the voluntold, and it's in 2 days. Waiting too late. This is why people tend not to rework with people because they feel that they were told to, they feel they were guilted into it, and they weren't given enough preparation. And finally, they weren't given enough support. So now I've told you everything, how you can do it wrong, you can screw up, and you don't, I'm not going to make you say this in the comments. I'm not going to put you on social media or anything like that, but can't see anyone on camera. This is a webinar. If you have think back and you go, okay, I have done this in the past, just kind of tap your heart and be like, learning moment. Because now we've addressed what's wrong, we can go into what's right. Okay. And with what is correct, what is right, how is a good way to handle this? First, this is not about you. This is not about you at all. This is about them. How you build large teams that are successful, that grow, and also correct children while on a recording and training, because of course, if you're a parent, I'm sure you understand this, they are perfectly good and perfectly silent when you're not on video or on a phone call, but the minute you answer the phone or you get on a Zoom call, they're like, oh my gosh, I need your attention. So I apologize. The first thing is, what is in it for them? It's the WIFM. Who, you've heard that phrase before, the WIFM. What is in it for me? So you need to know what is in it for somebody to be on your team. How can they help? How can they grow? What can they do to be successful by being on your team? And the only way you can do that is by talking to them. So here is your first actionable step. You're given a role and you need to build a committee. Once you've decided who you want to ask to be on your committee, you're going to do one thing first. And this is so important. And I guarantee 95% of people miss this step. Okay? Are you understanding how critical this piece is? I want you to ask permission to have a conversation with them. I'm going to use Lisa because Lisa has been on multiples of my Lisa has been on many of my teams, and it always begins like this. Hey, Lisa, if you have a minute, I would love to have a conversation with you. If you have a minute, if you have a moment, can we chat? Can we get on a phone call? Can we get on a Zoom call? Can we sit down for coffee? I have something I would like to present to you. Now, if they're not interested, they're going to turn around to you and say, you know, not really, not this time. What is it you're after? What do you want to know? And that way you can start overcoming objections right then at the beginning. But honestly, 90% of the time they go, yeah, I'm free tomorrow. What time are you free? And then you get to have a phone call. Oh, yeah, sure. Just give me a call after dinner. And you get on the call. And that is when the first parts of building your team begin. And that is building the rapport. You don't want to get on the phone call. And yes, I'm Lisa. I'm using you again. Get on the phone. Hey, Lisa. So I need you on this committee. You're going to head up. No, we're not going to jump straight into it. We're not going to run into what can you do for me. We're going to ask, hey, how's your day? What's going on? How have you been? How's life treating you? And then because we're doing this for Toastmasters, and if you're going to be doing this for your business, we're going to change from Toastmasters to your business. I'm just curious. What are some of your goals this upcoming year with Toastmasters? What are some of your goals this upcoming year within your business? What are some of your goals this upcoming year in this organization? What are some of your goals this upcoming year within this team? Again, this is not about you. This is about them. This is about how they can develop over the next year. What are some of the things they want to work on? What are some of the goals? Now, you do get to a point where you know exactly where some of your team's strengths and weaknesses lay, because then you can go, oh my gosh, so I know you're really good at this and I know you want to work on this. What if I could give you the opportunity to shine here while building this up? And that is another thing. But you're going to establish what each individual's goals, dreams, and hopes are for the next whatever time frame you're working on, whether it be a year, 3 months, 6 months. So now you've asked permission to talk to them. That's number one. 2, you're establishing their goals, their desires, their hopes, their dreams. 3rd, now this is what I do with Toastmasters, and I'm also going to give you the business alternative. How are you working on your pathway? What level are you on, and which path are you choosing to be in? Have you considered things like your HPL? Have you done your leading in an organization? Are you on track for your DTM project? And basically what I'm doing there is I am finding the educational needs that can be fulfilled by being part of a team, by being part of a committee. In business, I'll go, so how is your progression to your promotion coming? How are your educational goals coming? I know you're in school. What are you doing in school? What are you working on? Where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses? And as you can see, so far, I'm 10 minutes into this conversation with this individual, and I have not once said, I want you on my team. I want you to do a job. I want you to do something. It's okay. I've now figured out that they have time to talk to me, 1. I have figured out what their personal goals are. And now I'm figuring out what they need to achieve those goals. Now, if you do not participate in table topics on a regular, I'm going to tell you, start volunteering for table topics every single week, because this is where table topics comes in so handy. You have just been given every single tool to share with that individual why this role will help them. Oh my goodness. So you just told me that you're working on this path and you're about to do a HPL project. Now, with the HPL project, do you have a project in mind already? Most of the time they say, well, no, I'm trying to think of it. I'm not sure. I'm kind of not there yet. And occasionally they do, they have something, and then you listen to it and you give them opportunities to grow and develop on that HPL project right then and there. Once they give you that they do not have a HPL, or they do, you then get to turn around and say, well, here's the thing. The reason I asked for this call, again, you're being transparent, you're telling them, you're explaining. And what you will do next is you are going to give them a honest, genuine compliment. And if it's not someone that you've selected, it's someone that someone else has given. So there's two ways you can do this compliment. One, you've been watching them, you know who they are, you've seen what they've done, you're seeing what they're capable of, and you're like, oh my gosh, I want them on my team, they're amazing, they're fantastic, I need them. At which point you say, so I've been watching you for the last 6 months, and I saw what you did with this particular role. And I just loved how you brought in some organization, some credibility. I really like how you handled your contest last year, because you were professional, you were strong, and you're talking about things that you've seen, things that have made an impact on you. Now, here's the other side. You haven't seen them. You have no idea who this person is, but you have an idea what they want because of you've just been talking to them, but somebody gave you their name. Well, the reason for my call is I was talking to whoever you were talking to, and they were like, you really need to get to know the person you're speaking to, because, and then give them the reasons that that person told you. What you're doing is you are letting them know that you believe that they are capable and strong and that they can do this role. And also, who doesn't like an ego boost? Like, seriously, an ego boost is always fun. It always helps people out. It always helps people grow. It makes them feel better about themselves. And there's nothing wrong with having a little pep in your step. And then you go into the next step. With that in mind, and the fact that you want to achieve a HPL, the fact that you're trying to work through your level 4 of your pathway, the fact that you're going for this promotion, the fact that you want to get more project management experience because you're working on your certification, I have an opportunity that I think you're a perfect fit for. Can I give you a few details on it? You have just made this individual feel listened to, heard, and complimented. Most of the time, they're going to say, okay, let's hear this out. Let's see what this is. Let's see what these options are. And then you can lay out the opportunity. Now, here is where most people go wrong. They list it as a description of job. So I need you to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay. Anyone else feel overwhelmed when they just get a list? It is overwhelming. It's stressful. It's like, oh my gosh, you're just adding more to my plate, please. So what you told me is you're looking for more project management experience. This is an opportunity to manage a team of several people who will come together to do this, this, and this. How this would help your project management experience is, it is going to give you this opportunity, and this opportunity. Some of the things that this would help you do, some of these things that will help you achieve. Now, and then you can turn around and say, this is how it would help the district. This is how it would help the business. This is how it would help the organization. But you're doing that secondhand. The primary is, how would it help the person you are speaking to? What kind of growth are they going to get? What kind of opportunity are they going to get from this? As you are giving the list, always tie it back to what they have told you. They told you they're trying to get project management because they're going for a supervisor role at work. This is a committee chair. What this does, it gives you the opportunity to lead a team of 5 to 10 people and create schedules and deadlines and guidelines and get feedback and interact with them to build up to this resolution. Now, with your career, I know you're going for the supervisor role. What this does is it allows you to add to your LinkedIn that you have successfully led a team of 10 individuals to achieving an end goal. Not only will you have that extra opportunity to add into your work history through a volunteer organization, it helps you build your credibility to show to work, to show to employment, to show to organizers, to show to your business. And then after all this, after you've explained it all, the one reason that most people do not like to step up is they feel that they will not be supported. So you want to always add in the support systems that you will provide. And I understand this is a whole new role for you. I know it's giving you the experience that you want, but I'm going to be there to help you. We have the training, we have the leadership handbook, we have this resource, and this resource. We have scheduled this, we have done this. These are all ways we're going to help you. Not only that, I always follow with, and I am going to help you in building your team. And I can do this one of two ways. One, we can build your team together. I'll get people, you'll get people, and we'll put them together and work together. Or I understand you may want to build your team yourself. How about I explain how I do it, and I give you opportunities to practice with me, and then we work on building that team together with you taking charge and leading the way. By giving them the support system, giving them what it means to them and how they can grow and what they can do from there, you're now giving them every opportunity to succeed. Most of the time, we give everyone the opportunity to fail. We tell them what they need to do, why they need to do it for the organization and not for themselves. And then we leave them hanging like, oh yeah, and you can figure it out. Anyone feel when you say figure it out, you go, oh my gosh, no, please don't do that. And let's say it's a totally new role that's been created and there is nothing out there for what to do, how to do it. This becomes an exciting premise. It's not, well, we've got to just figure out. It's this way we get to make decisions. We get to craft this. We get to design this how we want to see it to make sure that it is the most successful we can do. And don't worry, I'm going to be with you every single step of the way. And then finally, ask the question, how do you feel, how do you feel that this role could benefit some of your goals? What you're trying to do here is two things. One, you are working out whether or not your point came across and whether or not you were able to help them develop and help them build. And you are actually listening to them. Because if you didn't actually listen, they're going to say, well, I know I'm trying to go for project management at work, but I don't see how this is going to help me. That gives you another opportunity to come in and explain again. However, if they turn around and say, well, I can see how me leading a team of 10 people would really give me the project management and team leadership opportunities to show my supervisor at work that I can do this. You've hit the nail on the head. Then you can say, well, shall we give this a shot? And sometimes they'll tell you they need to think on it, and give them that opportunity. Tell them yes. Tell them to think about it. Go, absolutely. Let's circle around to this, should we say in 2 days? And feel free to ask me questions if you have any. Because if you push them into making the decision instantly, you're actually going to push them away and they will not feel supported. So to recap, 1, ask permission to talk to them. 2, build rapport and find out how they're doing. 3, find out what their goals are, what their dreams are, how they want to achieve that, and things that they want to do. 4, relate those goals and experiences that they need to the position that you are wanting to help fill. 5, ask them how they feel that connected. Don't just assume it did. And then 6, ask them for their commitment. And if they say not yet, give them the time to do this. I just gave you a whole bunch of steps. Okay. And a lot of people find that, oh my gosh, that's just a lot of work to ask people to be on the team. Well, yes, it is. because we're not just building a team to get a job done and check a box and run into the future. We're building teams that are successful and work well together with great communication and collaboration. As well as that, as you are going through this year with the team building and you're helping them get what they need, you need to have notes of what their goals were, what their hopes were, what they wanted to achieve from the organization, from this particular setup, and keep checking back with them to make sure they're achieving those goals. Because if we actually help them achieve those goals, guess what's going to happen next year when you have another opportunity, another step up, another leadership role that you would like them to come on? They're going to be far more eager and willing to take on a role because you did actually help them. Quite often, we get so caught up in that we want to build a team, that we want to be successful for ourselves, we forget to look at how the success works for other people. Now, the topic of this conversation was many hands make light work. And I'm going to explain that to you right now, because I think this is a concept that we miss frequently. We look at a job and go, well, yeah, one person can take care of that. We only need one person to handle that. Well, we only need one person to do this. We don't need to add more. Yes, can one person do? Yes, absolutely. One person can do this role. And I'm going to give you an example from this last Toastmasters year. Our speakers bureau has always been one chair. And this year we made the decision to make it a main chair, an education chair, and an organization chair. So it was 3 individuals working together to create the most success possible. This took away overwhelm from one person. This gave far more flexibility when somebody couldn't be there because they had to go do something else. This also gave a lot more room for growth, and we expanded the Speakers Bureau role immensely and created many more opportunities for our members to work outside Toastmasters, get speaking gigs, and do so much more. So by splitting that role into 3 individuals, hard work became very light for 3 people instead of one person. Yes, and one person has successfully done it in the past. By doing that, though, we made it far more achievable, quicker, and easier to work with. Another role example is our PR roles. Quite often we put it all on one VP PR and have them, oh, you need to be on 10 platforms advertising. No, this is a whole team effort. This is many people making light work. Your VP PR should be posting on your social media, but your club members should be supporting them by sharing the post, commenting on the post, and growing it. Again, many hands make light work. The bigger the team you can get, the easier it is, the more supported you can make your team feel, the easier they find it, and the more they are willing to come back and work with you again. I gave you a lot of information, a lot of steps, and I'm going to ask Lisa to come back on now, because do we have some questions that I can answer, some scenarios that we can look at or anything like that, Lisa? And you have been on the receiving end of my technique a few times.
Yes, I have.
And I'm curious, how did it work for you?
It worked because you wanted to take interest in me and develop a friendship. When I first met you, I was working in public relations for Toastmasters and pretty much in over my head because I had no team. I didn't have anyone to rely on. So you jumped in. And then from that point, as you started working up the ladder yourself, showed me how to put a team together and how to talk with them. But your interest has always been, okay, how's Michael? How are the boys? Oh, you have a terrorist dog. What's the dog's name? And just knowing all the details, the fact that not everybody in Toastmasters, except for now, knows I have a terrorist dog has been a priceless thing. And the funniest thing, I'm going to out myself because I know we talked about this off air, about when we taught together at TLI, which was fun. Gosh, if you've never taught a class with Karen, you got to. We were teaching how to do public relations for our members in club leadership. And there was this, I swear to God, this huge cricket, like it had to be this big, I swear, like this, yeah. It was crawling on the floor. This was when we were still meeting in person before the pandemic. And I saw it. Karen doesn't like bugs. I thought, oh, no, wait, I've got you. You're my friend. This is how we deepen the relationship. So I literally took off my shoe and I threw it at the cricket. That also almost hit Karen, but that wasn't the point. I was trying to hit the cricket, not Karen. And everybody in the class started laughing, and I didn't get the cricket because my aim stinks. So I took off my other shoe and said, no, wait, I got another one. Took off the second shoe, chucked it at the cricket, still missed the cricket. I realized I just embarrassed both of ourselves. And then I looked at my team that we were trying to train and said, did you guys get that on video by any chance? We could put it up on Facebook and whatnot. And they went, oh, so it was a learning lesson for them as well, but still a funny moment that we remind ourselves about as well. She is phenomenal with teams. I've never seen anybody that could pull teams together like that, but I think the deepening of the relationship really is the key.
And to make it worse, we had to have Peter Salazar at the time come and kill the cricket for us.
Yeah, I think he walked up real calmly and just stepped on it. Like, really? That was it?
Like, that was it. We're there throwing shoes and like, ah!
I don't like when they crunch.
But here's the thing. The question I want to ask you right now is, you have been on the receiving end of this system a couple of times with me.
Yes.
Did you ever feel like I was trying to put you out?
No.
Did you ever feel like I was asking too much?
No, not at all, because it fit what I was trying to do, anything that I was trying to learn, and the things I wanted to do to help the district at the time to help them push forward. It had nothing to do with really anything personal to me, more or less just helping. And it never felt like it was a big ask.
And you see, and this is why I asked Lisa to come on, because that first couple of steps, asking permission to talk, building the rapport, and then asking what their goals are, those are the critical 3 steps that we always miss. And again, I'm putting you on the spot. Yes, I'm picking on you. I'm sorry. You know,
sure, go ahead. I owe it for the cricket, so.
Yes, you do. And that shoe did almost hit me twice. Have you been in situations when other people, whether it be in business, in career, in employment, where other people miss those 3 steps? And how did that feel differently?
It did, and it feels more like a huge ask. Most recently in a nonprofit, a different one that I was sitting on the board with, and they needed people to volunteer. They tend to use their board as the workers themselves, which is never a good idea. You've got to have a team, and then the board gives direction to the president. That's not how this one does it. And when they would ask for volunteers, it was more or less thinking to myself, and I don't have the time. I don't know if I really want to do this, or I want to take the time. Even pre-pandemic, it felt like a huge ask. I do want to help them. That's not the point, but it was always, okay, who wants to volunteer? Okay, Lisa, can you be there? I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm not so sure I can. And I would find ways to get out of it. And with Karen and the process that she developed, that she showed me, it doesn't feel like that. So you're not really looking for a way out. You're looking for, how fast can I get started? Or what do I need to learn? It shifts your mind gear a lot when she puts down that process.
And it's like you're being voluntold. It's that whole voluntold, which we have a lot of people that do this, and it does take away from trying to build a team, but it takes away from that collaboration.
It does.
Now, again, throwing you under the bus because I'm such a meanie. So you didn't even realize this was a system I was doing at first?
No.
And when I explained it, do you feel like I'm putting you out, or because there's something else says, oh, now you've let your secret out, everyone's going to think you're just using them by being nice to them? Yeah, because like, oh, you're after something.
Yeah, but you're always going to have a handful of people that think that, you're not going to change that mindset.
No, but did you ever feel like that?
No.
Oh, and how is Toothless, by the way?
Well, still not toothless. My husband still let him keep his teeth, and he has to go to his day spa on the 23rd of July, which at that point, then I have a cleaner coming in to clean our tile floor, so he doesn't bother him and vice versa. So we're learning to work with him, learning how to stay in his lane, but.
And you see, and there's the other technique. At no point did Lisa give the name of her terrorist dog.
Nope.
But I knew the name. So this is the other thing, when you're building teams, actually care about the person you're building the team with. And that does mean knowing their spouse, knowing their kids, knowing their dogs, knowing what they do, knowing what they want to achieve, their hopes, their dreams. Because when you build this, you actually help them grow, and you create this environment where they want to work with you and they want to grow with you. Are there any questions that came up in the chat that maybe we can answer today, Lisa?
Well, one that I saw, because we talked a lot about Toastmasters in your presentation, did a fantastic job of showcasing how this all works with Toastmasters. How would someone really apply this in their career? Not necessarily a business, because I think most people in business, either they have the employees, but they're the boss, or they're working with contractors. So if you're a person like a manager person in a position, I don't know, say maybe at APS or Cox or whatnot, and you're trying to elevate that, how do you apply this inside a business?
So the one thing that you're always going to have this opportunity to do in business is have a project or something that you're trying to showcase. Now, it could be that you're working as a team. Maybe you're already in a supervisor role, or you're not in a supervisor role. If you are, it's a lot easier because you can take ideas and split them among your team and using this to build that team collaboration. If they already have things they need to do, but by knowing how it ties back to them and how it's going to help them, having that ability to explain it to someone helps someone feel more enthusiastic about what they're doing. Oh, I'm doing these reports because it's helping me develop the organizational skills for me to step into supervisor later, rather than I'm doing these reports because I have to. But one of the best things I've ever seen, because I was in a Fortune 500 for a while, is you use this to create a project. And you've seen this if you work, you have these individuals that come up with projects, and it could be quite as simple as, oh, we're going to have a monthly bowling league for the employees so we can get together and have some fun. Or we're going to have something where we find that these whiteboards are not working for us, so we want to redo them, remove them around, move the office around, do something like this. It's like, how can we make this become something fun? One, you're going to ask permission to talk to people. Two, you're going to find out how they're doing, what's going on. Three, you're going to find out what their goals are. Let's take the move the office around, because that's probably the most boring and frustrating one, right? It's like, oh my gosh, how can I get people to move furniture? Okay, so what I'm hearing from you, you want to step up into leadership. You want to become a supervisor. You want to grow your own team. Can I ask you a question? How do you feel that this layout of this office is currently working to build up team collaboration? What would you change? How would you change it? How do you think if we put our heads together and came up with a new layout, that we could make this a more successful organization? And then we can show our supervisors how you came up with these ideas to build communication, or to build organization, or to reduce time dealing with something like this. And that way it shows our managers how you are organized and forward thinking, and we both get what we want.
That is amazing. And it does. I mean, it sounds simple, but I don't think a lot of people get it. I think, they get educated, but they get to the point where I think I've got it. I was taught how to do this. No, you weren't really. This is great tips as far as that goes. Now, somebody else put something in the chat. It had to do with paying a genuine compliment. And we've all heard, okay, wow, that dress is beautiful. Can you give an example of what would sound genuine and what would maybe not sound genuine, but can you make it the same compliment so they get an idea of what that would sound like? I know it's a little difficult.
So I'm even going to go to the most difficult one.
Okay.
And that is when somebody you don't know and you were just recommended to talk to them. So you've never met this person. This is a first time conversation. You've not watched their work ethic. You don't know anything about them apart from what one person told you and what they've just told you. Okay. Would you agree that's the most challenging situation?
I would, yes.
So let's say the person that you spoke to who recommended them told you that they were really organized. The trick here is when that person went, oh, really? How do you know they're organized? What did you see them do? Oh, well, they were doing their area director reports. They were doing their team reports. And not only were they in 2 weeks early, but they were some of the most detailed I've ever seen. Okay. So the trick is ask the person that referred an extra question to get more details. So a compliment that's a compliment is genuine, but it doesn't come, hey, I heard you're really organized and I really need someone who's organized on my team. great. You can call anyone organized because it's just so vague. So one thing I heard about you, and they were just singing your praises, was not only did you get all the reports in 2 weeks early, I mean, like 2 weeks early, like who does that? You do that, obviously, you do that. But they were some of the most detailed reports they'd ever seen. I just have to know, how did you manage your time to do this? Again, you've just given them a genuine comment, but you've also asked them a question, which has made them the credible one in the conversation. Let's say the nice dress. Oh my, that dress is so pretty on you. Okay, great, that dress is pretty. Great, that's so black. I love that dress on you. The way you've got the perfect fit, and that color is a power color for you. How did you figure out that color was the best color you could wear? I mean, like, seriously, that's your color. And sometimes, I just put it on and I was like, I liked it. And other times it's, well, I went to a consultant and they went through all my color schemes and everything like that. But again, what you've done is you've tied a compliment with a question, which is asking them, like, you're the expert here. I want to learn from you. We're on even footing. I'm not coming to you as, I'm not the boss and you're like my minion. I'm coming to you out of respect because we're on the same level and you have skills that are very valid, and I have an opportunity for you to showcase those skills.
That makes a lot of sense, honestly. And that can apply clear across the board. Even if you're trying to talk with people and say the only way you can talk with them is on social media or even on Zoom, you want to be as genuine as possible. How many people have actually in the audience had something dropped on them through LinkedIn or Facebook, especially LinkedIn? This is where they like to spam you with all kinds of marketing messages. I can sell you this, or I can call you on that, but they don't know anything about you. Would you refer them out? And this goes not just to networking, but also in career and in your business. I like that. That is great. If you want to contact Karen, she'll go ahead and put her information in the chat here shortly. I'll go through and make sure I haven't missed any questions at this point. Goals. How would, and go back to the manager again, this is back in business mode. How does a manager make it not about them? I mean, we hear some managers talk about all the time, or even some of our own volunteers talk about, okay, I've done this, I've done that, me. But if you're asking someone to join your team and help you, what could they do to not make it about them? Or how do they demonstrate, no, this is not about me?
So I'm going to pick on the word that you use managers. Okay. And as I said in the beginning, there's two types of leadership. There's manager leaders and then there's leaders. The ones that make it about themselves are very typically managers. They're just in there to manage a situation, check some boxes and get it done.
It's basically the root word of that word, manager.
Correct. Okay. What we want to encourage is more leadership. And leadership is about finding core details that you can utilize to help someone become the best version of themselves. And the number one tip for that is, instead of stop telling people what you can do, what you've done, what you've said, how you've been. Stop that and start asking questions. The more questions you ask, the more about the other person it becomes, because you're basically, think of it like you're a secret spy and you're trying to get all the secret intelligence out of them and figure out every last detail. So the more questions you ask, the more you make it about them and less about you. Well, for someone who finds it hard to do that, because there are people who have a difficult time crossing into that very personal rapport building conversation, just think of it like you're on a treasure hunt. You're on the treasure hunt for the details that will allow you to showcase what that individual's greatness is, so that way they are willing and excited to work with you. And that's what you're really trying to do. You're trying to uncover that great spark for them, that excitement, that, oh my gosh, yes, I do want to do that. Yes, I want to learn that. Yes, I want to grow there. And that's how you go from manager to leader, by making them excited and enthusiastic because you actually cared about what they wanted to achieve.
Terrific. Thank you. I think that, again, that's something that's a transferable skill. Doesn't matter if you're in a volunteer organization, your business, your career, this is transferable. So if you can learn it in one, you definitely can apply it in another. Awesome. All right, take one more look. Another question about contact. So I'm thinking, I don't see any other questions other than two have asked, how do we get in touch with you?
Of course, I am on pretty much every social media as Karen Hewitt or Blossom to Success, but you can also get me in my Toastmasters email, which is Karen Hewitt DTM@gmail.com. And I'm more than happy to answer questions, help you out, and just see if we can help you grow those teams that are enthusiastic, creative, and involved.
Great. And also, I'm going to type this in the chat for our guests. Also on social media at Blossoms or Blossom to Success.
Blossom, BLOSSOMTO, Success. Because I
Terrific.
always encourage people that they don't have to change who you are. You're wonderful the way you are. You just have to blossom into your own success.
Terrific. Thank you. I want to thank you for coming on today, Karen, and sharing all this information with us. This is really terrific. And I think very timely as Toastmasters is changing its leadership year. But honestly, even if you're stuck trying to figure out for the summer, gosh, what do I do? How do I make my next quarter better? And how do I get my team to really, truly help me? Teaching us how to focus more on them and making it about them is the key. And I want to thank you for sharing that with us today. It's fantastic.
It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks. For anyone that's interested, we will be putting this up on our YouTube channel in about a week. So please check our YouTube channel or bookmark it. Make sure you hit the bell to make sure you subscribe so that way you don't miss another episode of what we're doing here or any other videos that we're putting out in the future as our leadership changes hands. And if you have any questions, again, Karen's email again is Karen Hewitt, HEWITT DTM @gmail.com. I want to thank you again for joining us today for our Lunch and Learn webinar series. I want everyone to have a fantastic Friday, a wonderful weekend, and we hope to see you back on our channel very soon. Thank you again for coming.